1, citing your information sources when you use information off the internet or other published information. This video is an introduction to the Vancouver style reference system. The Vancouver style is one of 3 famous styles, so we'll take a closer look at it today. To begin, let's have some guiding questions for which we'd like answers as we watch the video. So first, what is referencing or citing? Why do we need to cite a source of information anyway? When should we cite a source of information? And what information should we include when we cite a source? Finally, what does a citation or reference look like? As you watch the video, you'll discover the answers to these questions. Okay, but first, let's connect to the topic. So far in the program, you've written paragraphs. How did we develop our main ideas? What did your instructors ask you to do? Well, we asked you to use your life experience and your knowledge to explain your main idea and to provide examples. We didn't ask you to go online and find research facts or statistics to support your claim. But our next writing task will be essays. How will an essay be more complex than our previous assignment? Well, an essay has 5 paragraphs. In an essay, each main idea must be developed with its own paragraph. What does that mean? It means you're going to have to go online to get some researched information to support each main idea. So in an essay, how will references support our main ideas? If you can find published information to support your main idea, your content will be stronger and you will be more credible, believable as a writer. Okay, so we found an information source to support our main idea. So why do we need to cite? Well, there are 3 main reasons we need to cite. First, to recognize the source author's intellectual contribution to the academic community. In other words, the source author, the person or the organization who published the information, put a lot of time and effort into getting the information published. So we have to recognize them. We have to recognize or acknowledge their effort. Why do we do that? To avoid plagiarism. Again, plagiarism is an academic crime. What's the crime exactly? To review, plagiarism means maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally, stealing another person's ideas and claiming them as your own. Okay, so to avoid plagiarism, we need to acknowledge and recognize the source author. 2, okay, we need to cite to support our claims with published evidence and facts. If we can find published information that agrees with our main idea, then our content will be stronger. And 3, to refer interested readers to the source of our information so that they can access it themselves, so that they can get the information themselves. Okay? Some readers who are interested, they will want to read our source information for themselves to learn more. Okay, finally, what is a citation? Okay, in the passage, okay, we also call that in text. So in your writing. And after the passage, it's a reference system that signals we have used a source of information, and it provides the source's details. So it does 2 things. It signals, okay, that we have used a source, and 2, it provides details about that source. Okay, take a look at the passage below. Okay, what do you notice about it? Can you see these 2 superscript numbers? Okay, that's how we signal that we've used a source of information. We write a superscript number after the sentence. Is that it? Only a small number in text? No. Okay, there are 2 places we need to cite the information. The first place is in the passage, like you just saw. Okay, we use a superscript number. This is a must, okay? And a reporting phrase, which is optional. To repeat that, the number is a must, and the reporting phrase is optional. So let's look at the example, okay? Here's our must. And the reporting phrase is in blue, according to the World Health Organization. We can also say, the World Health Organization stated that, or the World Health Organization found that. That is based on research findings. Or the World Health Organization suggested that. Those are common reporting phrases. Take a look at the second example. Okay? You can see the mandatory superscript number, but if you notice, there is no reporting verb or phrase. It's just the statement followed with the number signal. So, can you guess already? Number 3 and number 4. If each source is given its own number, how many sources have we used so far? Hold that thought. Okay, where else do I need to provide information? Well, in the passage, okay, that was our first place. Okay, we wrote a small superscript number. Okay, and again, it was optional if we included a reporting phrase. Is that enough? The reader needs more information. The number doesn't tell us details about the source, does it? So where do we put details of the source? On the back page. Okay? On the back. That's the second place. What's that called? References. Okay? On the reference page is where we give full details about the source. So, reference page. Each source, signaled by its own number, becomes an entry on our reference page. So far, how many sources did we use? You saw the superscript 3. Later you saw the superscript 4. Well, each source is signaled by its own number. That means we have used 4 different sources already. So here's a skeleton, a sneak preview of what the reference page will look like. Okay, you can see we have 4 entries. What would go beside number 1? Can you guess already? The information about source 1. Details, our first source that we used. Okay, what would go by number 4? Source 4, details. Okay, that's the relationship between the references page and the in-text citation numbers. Okay, why use numbering? Well, This format is one of 3 famous systems. It's called the Vancouver Reference System. Why are we using Vancouver Reference? Because it's what the medical and scientific community use. Okay, what does it look like? Basically, each source is numbered. The first source is numbered 1. Every time that source is used, the same number will appear at the end of the sentence. Okay. On the back reference page, each entry follows the numbered sequence from the passage. So on the reference page, the reader looks at the first entry to get more details about source 1. It will look like this. Number 1, and then it will have the details about which source? You got it, source 1. Okay, what happens if you can't find the function to make these little superscript numbers? Okay, do you have to use a superscript number? No, you don't. Okay, if you can't find the superscript function, go ahead and use brackets. Okay, brackets are okay. So either superscript or brackets are fine, but whatever you use, be consistent. Okay, be consistent in text. Okay, let's check your understanding for today. Imagine this. You have 4 sources of information. Every time you use the second source, what number will you superscript or put in brackets at the end of the sentence in which you used it? Every time you use the second source, even if you use it 5 times, that's okay. What number will you put when you use it? Number 2. Whoops, sorry. Okay. What about on the reference page? What number will you put? Number 2. Okay, finally, let's do a quick review. What did we learn so far today? When you use another person's work or idea, even in your own words, you must signal your source. Why? To give credit to the source, to avoid plagiarism, to add credibility or believability to your own work, and to refer interested readers. Okay? Again, that means interested readers can go to the source themselves. Okay, how do you do it again? You signal a source with a number within the passage. This is an in-text citation. It can be a superscript or it can be brackets. You use the same number every time you use that source. In this case, the third source. For each in-text source, you will also enter important information or important details about that source on your reference page. So it would say number 3 and then important details. The reference page is a separate page after your passage. You will give it the title, References. It means the sources of information that you used. Okay. Separate page after your passage. The title is References. Key information. Follow the same sequence as your in-text sequence of sources. Okay, that's it for part 1. Review any parts that were tricky, and when you're ready, come back for part 2. In part 2, we'll learn more about the references page itself and how to format each of those entries. Bye.